Would you use this as bait? Let's have a look at gel baits. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're back in the kitchen and we're going to have a look at gel baits. Gel baits are basically just flavoured jelly. I call it smelly jelly because it stinks. This type of thing was popular back in the 90s. It's very different to a boilie. It's a different experience using it, but I still think it's worth knowing how to make it and ways in which you could use it. So it's a base mix of flavorings and colorings, whatever you want. And to that we add gelatin to get it to set and form a jelly, which becomes our bait. Gelatin is an animal-derived product that is safe for consumption. It's widely used in the food industry and indeed in commercial fish foods, so it's safe for fish to consume. You can get gelatin at your local supermarket. I think it comes in pouches or packets or something, but I've gone online and ordered this pot of powdered beef gelatin, and that'll be perfect because you will need quite a bit of it. Cost-wise, it's still going to work out cheaper than boilies. Right, let's get on with it then. This recipe makes 1 pint of bait. I'm going to be making 2 batches. First one is going to be the Fishing Around signature Terry Berry flavour, and the second batch is going to be a spicy prawn flavour that I haven't tried before. A good tip to keep you out of trouble at home: use your oldest bowls and your oldest measuring jugs, because depending on the flavour, this stuff is going to stink. If you're enjoying the content, guys, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. As with all my cheap bait recipes on my channel, we're going to keep it simple. The recipe is made in 2 halves. The first half is us rehydrating the gelatin and giving it time to kind of work. And that's what we're doing with this first half pint of water. We're going to add the dried gelatin and then we're just going to put it to one side. The second half is where we add all of our flavourings and additives, and then we just mix the two together at the end and let it set. This is just the dried gelatin going in now. Through the magic of editing, I'll speed this bit up. Nothing smelling too bad at this stage. Right, the gelatin's been added into the water. Let's give it a quick mix round and then set it to the side to do its thing. Let's stick these out of the way and move on to the second half of the recipe, which is the flavouring. I'm doing 2 batches, so I'm going to need 2 measuring jugs, and I've got a couple of old ones here. The first one we're going to do is the Fishing Around signature flavour, which is Terry Berry. That's teriyaki strawberry. It's always done really well for me, and we're going to replicate it here with some teriyaki sauce that I found in the back of the cupboard and some strawberry jam that was in the fridge. I've had the most success with this jelly where the ingredients that I use for flavouring are soluble in water, and I know that both of these will dissolve nicely. So we're going to go ahead and add our flavourings, and once we've done that, we're also going to add in a little bit of sea salt. This is going to help with the attraction and the taste, but also it's going to help make the gel bait PVA friendly. This is quite important if, like me, the main way you'll probably use this is in a PVA bag, and it'd help if it didn't melt the bag. The flavours are in, the salt's in. All that's left to do is make that mix up to half pint. The idea being we're going to add this half pint to the half pint that we've put the gelatin in, and we'll get a pint of jelly. Before we finish making our terry berry jelly, try saying that 3 times fast, let's go ahead and have a look at the spicy prawn flavours. So I've got here some of our fishing around ground bait mix. I'll put a link up to that video somewhere on the screen now. This one's got a bit of pellet mixed in. I was using it on a session. I didn't use it all, so I brought it back, and I'm going to add it into this. I'm also going to chuck in some salt and a few other ingredients. The spicy prawn mix is going to start to get smelly now. First, we're going to chuck in some of this sriracha sauce. I don't know if that's how you say it. It's chili, sort of mildly spicy sauce. You can get it in any supermarket. It's really popular. This one's actually garlic flavored as well, so that'll all add to the attraction. Starting to smell a little bit, nothing too bad yet. But let me tell you about this next ingredient. It's fermented shrimp paste. Now, I got this off Amazon, never heard of it or used it before, but it was what I was looking for the spicy prawn sort of flavor. I'm going to put a warning on the screen because it stinks badly. I got in right trouble with the missus for even opening the jar. You can see me sort of try and start to speed up here and add it in quickly because it is foul. Carp tend to love strong flavors, so I'm thinking right now I'm going to be onto a winner. Right, so we've got both our flavor mixes done. We've made them up to half pint each with cold water. Now we're going to have a look at the gelatin. When the gelatin's ready for use, it should be this like wallpaper paste like consistency, and that means it's sort of rehydrated and it's ready to go in. So what we have to do is we take each flavor mix, we heat that up in the microwave till it's hot but not boiling. I suggest 2 minutes, that's what worked for me. And then we add in the half pint of gelatin, stirring it round and fully dissolving it. Once you've done that, it's basically like any jelly that you've ever made that you bought from the shop. You pour it into a tub or a mold and you let it cool, and then you stick it in the fridge and you've got smelly jelly. When you look at the ingredients I've used, especially for the terry berry flavour one, I mean I've used a bit of jam, a bit of teriyaki sauce, a bit of salt, and a small amount of the powdered gelatin. It's very cost effective for a pint of bait, which goes quite a long way. Make sure you stir this through really well. You want the gelatin fully mixed in before you pour it out and leave it to cool. The spicy prawn mix, while it smelt foul when it was cold, it was awful when it was heated up in the microwave. Luckily we had quite an old microwave anyway, so we got rid of it and bought a new one. But the smell after 2 or 3 days was not coming out, despite a couple of thorough cleans. So make this one at your own risk. With the spicy prawn mix, I've added some black food colouring to give it a really different look to the terry berry one. And I'm also going to add some of these prawns that I had left over from another session. I'm going to chop them up and just add them on top. And that is that, guys. Simple as. That is how you make a pint of smelly jelly. Let's leave these to set and then have a look. As you can see, the recipe makes a really nice firm jelly. This is the terry berry one. I'm cutting some of it into kind of rough chunks I'd use as loose feed or even hook baits. It's much nicer to work with than boilies. As long as you keep it relatively cool on the bank in a bait box, then it's brilliant. It will last all day. Doesn't get too sticky or anything like that. But it isn't as durable as a boilie. The spicy prawn smelt so bad that I ended up having to freeze it. And it's made the freezer stink as well. I do not recommend that you make this one. I'm going to use this lot as a mixer for ground bait and hopefully get rid of it quite quickly. The great thing about jelly, and why it's, I think, worth knowing how to make, is you can mold it to any shape you want. There's literally millions of different sort of molds on the internet for dead cheap, and you can make a hook bait that really suits you. I've seen a few tackle companies make end tackles specifically for fishing with cubes of meat, and I think that would be really good for use with this gel bait as well. It's not as durable as a boilie. You're going to have trouble casting it out far just on the hair with a bait stop. I would either use one of those kind of meat cube systems, or like I'm doing here, use a PVA bag. You know, I've chucked in my fishing around ground bait, a couple of free offerings and the hook bait, and I know that's out there on the spot, on the hair, waiting for a carp to take it. A lot of you seem to really like my ground bait video. Thank you very much for watching it. Cheers. I get some great ideas in the comments section. One of the questions I get about it is, will it cloud up? And I think you can see from this video it does, and it does a really nice job of producing fine and coarse particles all the way through the water column. Some float. There's a really nice pile of bait on the bottom, and that smelly jelly hook bait really pops against it. Pleased with that. We all know that carp tend to spook off a bait that they see or get caught on repeatedly, and that's why I think it's worth it knowing how to make this and giving it a go, because I can guarantee that they won't see this very often. I've had some cracking fish on it, on waters that are, you know, club waters, quite difficult, where I haven't had much success before. This has pulled out some absolute bangers. Thanks for watching. See you again.